It is the 5th day of Vlogmas, it is the 5th day of Bookish Advent, and it is the 5th day of December, which means it's my dad's birthday. So I don't think they watch these, but happy birthday to my dad. Happy birthday to my dad, but I'm the one getting the Bookish Advent. Oh, I've heard of Preston and Child, but I've never read anything by Preston and Child. This is White Fire. So it says, Special Agent Pendergast arrives at an exclusive Colorado ski resort to rescue his protege, Corey Swanson, from serious trouble with the law. His sudden appearance coincides with the first attack of a murderous arsonist who begins burning down multi-million-dollar mansions with the families locked inside. After springing Corey from jail, Pendergast learns she made a discovery while examining the bones of several miners who were killed 150 years earlier by a rogue grizzly bear. Her finding is so astonishing that it, even more than the arsonist, threatens the resort's very existence. Drawn deeper into the investigation, Pendergast uncovers a mysterious connection between the dead miners and a fabled long-lost Sherlock Holmes story, one that might just offer the key to the modern-day killings as well. Now, with the ski resort snowed in and under savage attack and Corey's life suddenly in grave danger, Pendergast must solve the enigma of the past before the town of the present goes up in flames. So there's like author blurbs on the back, and the author of Outlander says a mile-a-minute thriller. It sounds like it. And then the author of Interview with a Vampire says, through myriad shocks, surprises, twists, and turns, the suspense never lets up. It sounds awesome. It's also really pretty. Like, I know it's a mass market paperback, but there's something really striking about that cover beyond the fact that it's bloody footprints. Yeah, I'm super excited about this. I'll probably read this in January. That's awesome. Hello. I thought it would be fun today to read some first lines for Vlogmas. So first lines from Christmas books. The first line from Mrs. Jeffries and the Three Wise Women by Emily Brightwell. That awful man is never going to be welcome in this house again, Abigail Chase muttered to her husband. The first line from 12 Days at Bleakley Manor. Christmas or not, there was nothing merry about the twisted alleys of Holywell. The first line of An Irish Country Christmas by Patrick Taylor. Barry Laverty, Dr. Barry Laverty, slammed the door of Brunhild, his elderly Volkswagen Beetle. The first line of Winter House. By the way, can we just say how gorgeous this book is? It is just the most beautiful book. And it has such great, I mean, this isn't great, this is pretty normal, but it has such great illustrations all the way through it. I love this presentation. But the first line from Winter House by Ben Gutterson. When Elizabeth Somers tugged open the gate to her aunt and uncle's yard and saw an envelope duct-taped to the front door of the shabby house she shared with them, she knew it was bad news. The first line of Christmas in London by Anita Hughes. This one always just feels so Christmassy to me. Louisa nudged open the industrial-sized oven and thought nothing smelled as wonderful as cinnamon and nutmeg 9 days before Christmas. I agree. I also agree with this first line. The first line of Murder at the Old Vicarage by Jill McGowan, although I have gotten better at this. Lloyd finished the last chapter of his library book and closed it with relief, wishing that it was in his power to abandon books halfway through. It used to not be in my power, but it is now, although this is not a book that you will want to abandon. The first line from The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. I think I have this one memorized. I think that it's, the Herdmans were the worst children in the history of the world. Let's see. Oh, I was so close. The Herdmans were absolutely the worst kids in the history of the world. Murder on a Winter Afternoon by Betty Rollins. This, by the way, is book 5 in a series. I have not read books 1 through 4, but I have read 5. Totally doable, totally doable. Shortly before dawn, a light shower of snow fell on the Cotswold Hills. One of my favorite first lines in the whole world. You're about to hear it. This is from The Lotka Who Couldn't Stop Screaming, A Christmas Story by Lemony Snicket. This story ends in someone's mouth, but it begins in a tiny village more or less covered in snow. The first line of The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. The first thing that you should probably know is that Yvonne Worthington Chase was dead. Now that is a retelling of A Christmas Carol, so it should be no surprise to you that the first line of this sounds very much like the first line of that. Marley was dead, to begin with. The Fir Tree by Hans Christian Andersen. Out in the forest stood a pretty little fir tree. A timeless Christmas, an enchanting time travel romance. Megan Turner paused to tuck a wayward strand of her curly hair into her bun, covered by her small cap, before grabbing her brass candlestick from a diminutive hand-carved table. The White Christmas Inn by Colleen Wright. As the inn appeared on the crest at the end of the snowy drive, nestled in the folds of the gently rolling Vermont foothills, Molly Winslow actually laughed out loud. I've just started this one and yesterday, and I'm in the middle of it, or maybe it was the day before, and I'm in the middle of it, and it's really delightful. It's really, really delightful. It's kind of like watching a Hallmark movie. I'm enjoying it immensely. Christmas Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella. So I think instead of reading you the first line of Christmas Shopaholic, because they always start with email correspondence, I'm going to read you the first email. From store manager to Becky Brandon. Subject, reply, inquiry. Dear Mrs. Brandon, thank you for your email. I was delighted to hear that you are planning to do loads of your Christmas shopping at Hector Good Gentlemen's Outfitters. I am also pleased you wish to purchase the Campbell coat for your husband Luke. However, I am afraid I cannot tell you if the coat is going to be reduced in price before Christmas. With all best wishes for a happy festive period, yours sincerely, Matthew Hicks, Store Manager, Hector Good Gentlemen's Outfitters, 561 New Regent Street, London, W1. Moonlight on the Thames by Lauren Westwood. She wasn't meant to be here. Kristen Hanna, Comfort and Joy. I just read this one this week and I loved it. Christmas parties are the star on the top of my don't list this year. This is 2 books, but I'm just going to read you in one. It's 2 books in one, but I'm just going to read you the first sentence of the first book. This is Finding Father for Christmas and Engaging Father Christmas by Robin Jones Gunn. Speaking of Hallmark movies, these are both Hallmark movies now, and you can enjoy them, and they are quite fun. A string of merry silver bells jumped and jingled as the north wind shook the evergreen wreath on the heavy wooden door. Coming Home for Christmas. I don't know if you could see it, but the cover sparkles. It's just really pretty. Coming Home for Christmas by Julia Williams. Cat Tinsel was standing by the window, stirring the Christmas pudding, looking out as dark clouds rolled over the hills, threatening a cold and rainy night. Winter Street. He thinks nothing of walking into room 10 without knocking. The last one. Christmas on Primrose Hill by Karen Swan. I am a giant blue bunny. So those are some first lines from 20 of my favorite Christmas books and stories. They're also different from each other, and I wonder if any of them you found intriguing. I'm gonna go finish reading The White Christmas Inn. I'll see you tomorrow for a full-on week-long vlog about my reading this book and more. all week long for the 'Tis the Season-a-thon. See you then. Happy Vlogmas!